Hey everyone, welcome to the Knitting Den. This is episode number 148 and today is Wednesday, January 21st. It is rather early, it's only 8:30 in the morning. I am in a different den. If you're a new viewer you won't know that, so welcome to new viewers. My name's Denise and I'm also known as Knitting Den on Ravelry and Instagram. And welcome back to everyone else. And yeah, I'll tell you why I'm sitting in the living room in a second. If you haven't joined the Ravelry group, I would encourage you to do so, and you should be able to find that under the Knitting Den podcast. You can find the podcast itself on YouTube. I want to say iTunes, but I sometimes forget to upload, or I just don't get a chance, and then which is the case for last week, and it's not on iTunes right now, and that may stop. So to be honest, I think YouTube's going to be the only place you'll see that see the podcast in future, but I will keep trying. Can't make any promises, to try and still use Podcast Garden to add it to iTunes. But anyway, I want to welcome everyone that did join the Ravelry group. Thank you, and especially to, and I'm just glancing at my notes, to here's Mom 25, who is Jamie in Chicago. Hi Jamie. And I'm very impressed that you actually toured with Donny Osmond, my heartthrob. I was not a David Cassidy girl way back in the day. Donny Osmond was my big crush. But wow, yes, rather impressed. I don't know, I can't imagine what that was like. You maybe have to tell us a bit more about it. I also want to say hello to au revoir. I'm going to pronounce it like the French au revoir. I think it's spelled slightly different, but that is to Carmen in Brisbane, Australia. Hi Carmen. And apparently Carmen has just discovered in the past week podcasts, knitting podcasts. I think that's really exciting, and I still remember when I first discovered podcasts. Can't believe it was 3 years ago now. It would have been 3 years this month, I think, because after a few weeks I started a podcast, this one obviously, a few weeks later in the March. So yeah, you never know, Carmen. You might get the podcast bug and want to do one yourself. I have to say, to anyone that might be considering doing a podcast, just go for it. If it's something you feel you want to do, don't worry about whether or not you think it would be interesting, or whether you'll have anything to chat about, or who will watch. Just don't even think about any of that. Just sit down in front of your phone or your camera, whatever you can use to record, and give it a go. That's what I did. I started a podcast because I didn't have any real friends that I was knitting with, and two, because I was I was enjoying watching new podcasts, and because I could see them, I wanted them to see me, and that wasn't going to happen unless I go in front of a camera. And as they say, the rest is history, and here I am nearly 3 years later. Anyway. So yes, newbies, new viewers, you will not be able to tell, but I'm in a different den, as we want to call it. I haven't been in my craft room for many months. I was on the porch a lot during the summer, and once it got a little bit too cold, I went up into the bedroom, which is one of my favourite places to sit and knit because I like the view from my window. And today, as I said, I'm sitting in the living room, and the reason I'm doing that is because I have the whole house to myself, except for the puppies. Hubby has gone back to work. He's been working from home for the last couple of years, and he has gone back to working in an office for a contractor It might be just for a few months, but it might be longer. So he's out of the house now. Kiki's out of the house at school. So I may be sitting here for a few weeks because it's kind of cosy. And I have to tell you, first of all, Talia, I have my cuppa here, which is getting a little cold already. But I wanted to tell you I'm drinking, and you know, I don't think I've got a very strong taste of teas. I'm drinking this little thing. It was sent in a Christmas card to me, so if you're watching and you sent me these tea bags, thank you. I think that's just the cutest little picture. Now, I didn't know what it said. I wasn't even sure what kind of tea, but when I turned it around, it does say black tea with rhubarb and strawberry flavours. So that's what's in there. And I also have, and I'm getting a little hot. Do I look red? I'm getting a little bit hot. I also have this one that came in the same envelope. And this one is black tea with blueberry muffin flavour. So I might try that at a later date. All right. So yeah, that is why... I don't know if I need this on, I'm getting hot. That's why I'm in a new den. And I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the view a little, because today we have snow. I didn't realise it was forecast. Hubby went to work at 5:30 this morning. He likes to get out, he has to get out early to beat the commute. And Kiki, the school wasn't delayed or cancelled, so she's gone off on the school bus, and now that it's light, the snow's still coming down. It looks like we've got a couple of inches already. I'm hoping it doesn't snow much more, because I have to go pick Kiki up this afternoon. She's staying behind at school for choir practice. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and probably I'll walk to the window so you can see outside a bit. And if I flick it around right now, you'll see a little ball of fluff sitting on the chair over there. Hold on. All right, you can't see the ball of fluff just yet because it is a little dark. So that was her just snorting. There she is. She did have her eyes closed a minute ago. So let me zoom back out, and then I'll carry the camera if I can. You can see it all white out there. Let's see where we'll go. So here we are. You can just see it's snowing. There was big fat flakes a minute ago, but you can see that it's totally covered the grass. Yesterday this was, well, dead grass, but it was all grass. Now it's all white, and I don't know how much more we're going to get today. As I said, I hope it's not a lot. I wish the deer were out here. Oops, banging the camera. Usually, when it snows, the deer are just right out there, right outside the fence there. And you can't see anything in the distance. It's just white sky. So anyway, let's get sat down and, oops. Let's chat some more about knitting. So, I'm feeling rather cosy because I get to stay in the house and it's snowing outside, and I've got my tea and I've got my knitting, I've got my notes, and yeah, let's get started. I really do not have a lot of knitting again. I will tell you, and as I said, I just said I'm not sure if I need it on because I'm quite warm in here, but I am wearing, and you can't, it's all twisted up a bit, I'm wearing the lace scarf I knit a few months ago, party lace scarf I think it's called. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I did it in a lace weight, and I did it in 100% cashmere, and guess what? Cashmere, it doesn't itch my neck. I always knew I had expensive taste. This does not irritate me like the other yarn, the wool and the alpaca and everything. I don't find this scratchy at all, so I guess I'm going to have to perhaps knit my cowls and scarves from cashmere from now on. But if I do take it off, let's have a look. I knit just a nice scarf, long scarf, and this is the side. It's a really nice simple pattern, and I kept it for me. I decided to keep it for me. I could just, oops, not like that. I was thinking I'll just, you know, wear it like this as well, if I want. If I get hot, I'll take it off. All right, so a little quick weekend review. I've got my notes here. Yesterday, no, not yesterday. Yesterday I took Boo to the groomers. The day before that, Monday, we were still off. It was Martin Luther King Day here, kind of like a bank holiday in England. So there was no school, and there was no school on Friday, last Friday. So we've just had a 4-day weekend, which is kind of crazy considering we only went back to school just over a week ago. But it was nice. I do like my days off school. I thought getting up at 6 o'clock was bad, but now I'm having to get up at 5 o'clock with hubby. I don't have to, but I like to, because I mix up a juice. We still want a juice in the mornings, so I'm mixing one up and putting it in a flask, or a thermos, as you say here. We just call it a flask. I have these funny conversations with hubby, because when I said I'll look for a thermos, Thermos is the brand, and we just say we do have thermos flasks in England, but we just call it a flask. But if you say flask here, then that's generally the small, the hip flask, or whatever you call it, that you put your whiskey in, or your brandy, you know, with a little screw top, thin. And I don't know what we call them in England. Do we still call them just a flask? Or I actually don't know what we call them. But if I say a flask in England, they'll know I'm talking about something that you put your hot drink in, or cold drink, you know, if you want to keep something cold. Anyway, waffle. So, yeah, weekend review, we had a nice 4-day weekend. Last Saturday, I went out to the outlets that are local to us with Kiki, took her along there, and we called into, I just wanted to tell you this because I thought I was excited. We called into a place called Freddy's for lunch. It's a fast food burgery joint thing. And because I'm still not eating meat, I was just going to get some fries. And to be honest, Kiki just likes the cheesy fries there. She doesn't eat burgers that much, and she didn't want one. She doesn't normally get one. But as I went in and I went to order and looked up at the menu, there was a veggie burger on the menu. And so I ordered it. I thought, oh, how fabulous. I still can have a burger in a burger joint. And it was a black bean and veggie burger. It was homemade. You could tell homemade. It was definitely freshly made. It wasn't just a thing from a freezer. And it was really delicious. And so I had fries with that, and I did have a Diet Coke. I don't have them very often, but I had one. And then I texted hubby because I really enjoyed it, and I asked if he wanted me to bring one home so he could try it. And he said, yes, of course. So I brought that home, and he really enjoyed it as well. Now, I can't remember where we were looking. I don't think it was McDonald's. I looked online after I got home at somewhere else. And they had a veggie burger. I can't remember which. I don't think it was McDonald's. They had a veggie burger, but it said it was a Boca burger. You know, that's a brand, B-O-C-A or B-O-C-C-A. They had a Boca burger, but they're just frozen. Oh, you know where it was? We went to Red Robin on Monday, and we looked on their menu before we went. And so that was, I knew I wouldn't order that because you can buy frozen veggie burgers, that brand, in the supermarket, of course, and I don't like them. not that brand. So didn't order that there. I did actually have fish when I was in Red Robin restaurant. I'm not eating chicken or meat, red meat. And normally, for the most part, I won't eat fish because I'll not be buying it in. But I did order it there. I got fish and chips, which I really like, with the malt vinegar on, just like back home. Anyway, I am waffling a lot, but that was our weekend. Let's move into knitting, which I don't have much of. I'll start with, I've been rather monogamous, so there's not much to show. I'll start off with, in my little knot bag here, my socks. I did do a tiny little bit. Oh, I'm actually in between socks. Didn't finish that row off. So, hold on. Oh, look, I'm matching. Gosh, you can hardly tell the difference. I'm using Barocco folio, and look, it's as soft as this cashmere. It really is. I love it. I decided I would try some socks with this. I'm not heavy on my socks. I tend to just wear them in the house when I'm, once I'm sitting at night on the bed. So I'm using Barocco folio, and it is, I did laugh when I said I had this. It's superfine alpaca and rayon, 65% and 35%. So it's got the rayon in it, which I think is supposed to be, isn't that like nylon? I'm sure I said this last time. But anyway, I am doing, and I do get all tangled up. I'm doing 2 at a time, but I only get tangled up when I pull them out of the bag. That's because normally it's okay. And I did a tiny little bit. I'll show you this side. I'm in between, so they're not all on one side of the needle. I'm doing the Hermione's Everyday sock pattern. And I think I've only done from the rib here. I wish it wasn't blurry, but you can see, at least I can see the texture starting to happen here. So that's all I worked on other than my main project. I thought I'd show you them. I'm doing 2 at a time. If you're new, I just recently did 2 at a time, really for the first time. A few weeks ago when I was doing some sport weight socks, and they were for the cast on that Danny had, just a fun cast on Christmas Eve. And it was sport weight, and they knit up really fast, and I finished them. So 2 at a time on magic loop is the way to go right now for socks for me. So I don't know what my glasses are falling off. I have not done anything with my hair, and I'm, as I said, I took Brew to the groomers on Tuesday. That was just yesterday. Bindi goes on Friday, and I go next week, yes, to the groomers, to the hairdressers. I'm going to get my hair coloured and grey-haired again and all that, because the following week, after that, I'm flying to Florida for the Sock Buddy retreat. So, got that. That's exciting. That's coming up. Let's move on to, because I really don't have that much to go through today. The main item I've been working on in my wonderful sweater bag. I'll be taking this to Florida with me. I've been working on, and I've got it on the iPad so you can see the colour picture, the knit along. This is the works in progress. We're moving into the knit along news. I'm doing the Lawrence sweater. We're having a knit along in the group with Sarah from Apple Blossom and New podcast. And as I said, I've been rather monogamous. And I'm just going to go through the details in case you're watching for the first time. This is the Lawrence sweater by Melissa Labar, I want to say. It's got no sleeves. You can see that a little bit better today. There's not as much glare. No sleeves, and a lot of it is, let me see, it's not going to show me now. It's got a big cowl and lots of garter stitch with a pattern down the front and the back. That's a good clear shot of it. It's lovely. I love the look of it. And I'll have to show you my progress. The cowl is quite deep, and it felt like it was taking forever last week. And this is the cowl part. Now it's inside out right now, and I've got yarn to sew in, but this is the cowl. It's inside out because it's going to fold over like this. So even though this looks inside out, as you pick up, look, I've split for the sleeves. As you pick it up, doesn't that look strange? This part is not inside out now. This will turn to the right side as you fold over your cowl. So this is where I'm at. It's on the needles. I took it off the needles yesterday, just a few rows after I had, split for the sleeves. And I put it on waste yarn just so that I could try it on over my head, and it fits. So I'm excited about that. And I've been really trying to knit a lot on this to get it done. I have to admit, I'm not saying I'm getting bored with it, but it is a little boring to knit, because it just seems to take so long. This was from 2 days ago. I forgot to move it yesterday, so when I knit on it, I'm getting like this much knit. I think I'll knit a bit faster now because the sleeves are off the needles. When the sleeves were on, a round was taken forever because there was nearly 300 stitches on, I think, 200 and something. So now that these are off, there's less stitches on, so I might be able to do a round faster. The pattern is really easy. It's a nice, simple pattern, but I do have to really check the chart for each round. So yeah, I can't really try it on because I've put it back on the needles. But I just don't want this taking a long time, and of course it's part of the knit along that we're having. So if I don't get this done in the next week or so, which I think it'll take me longer than that, it probably will go away with me to Florida to finish off, because it's not a difficult knit. And I'm using Barocco's Vintage. You can't see there, it says Vintage because my LYS has just put their sticker right over it, which doesn't want to peel off. That's silly. I guess, well, where else would you put it? I don't know. You should just have a smaller sticker. So I've now peeled it off, and you can't see anyway. But I guess she doesn't want to put it on this side because this is where all the information is. So Barocco Vintage, it's a worsted weight, and it's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. I've done hubby's cardigan in this yarn, and I know it's not scratchy, even though it does have 40% wool. The majority is acrylic, and so it's super soft. I'm just hoping that it doesn't peel a lot like hubby's cardigan did. We'll just have to see. I do have a shaver pill remover now, so if it does, I'll just at least I'll have something in the house to remove the pills from. So that's what I've been working on mainly, and I don't have any other knitting worth showing. I think I did a few rows on the hanging leaf shawl from the Botanical Knits book, but not enough to show you. I didn't bring that down. So with that said, as I mentioned last week, I'm not going to put titles on, but we're going to move into different sections. I'll mention the sections, but I'm just not going to try to put the titles along the bottom like I normally do, so that I can get this up and uploaded a little faster each week. So that will take us into show and tell. Now, I don't have anything new to show and tell, and this hair is really bugging me. I don't have anything new, but I do have, I thought I'd go through them really quick because it might be fun. I set a goal last week, remember, that I was going to add some yarn to my stash. And I showed you not five different skeins, but 5 different yarns. 2 of them, I had 5 skeins in one group and 6 of the Barocco's cotton. And then there was a few others. I didn't bring them with me because they were added to my Ravelry page, my stash, and they're in the basket upstairs. They need to go downstairs in my craft room soon. But I felt like I was on a roll, and yesterday I actually pulled up all of these from the shelf downstairs and I added those to my page as well. I was really quite proud of myself for making progress. Let's see if I can bring up my page and see how it's looking. See? I've added these, look. I do not have a picture for there because that was the Malabrigo, which is the here, and I forgot to take a picture of it. So I will do that. I added the details because I had the yarn with me. So I thought it would be fun if I just rush through these and you can see some of what's in my stash. Because now that I've pulled them off the shelf, it's like, oh, I didn't realise I had all of these. And somebody mentioned when they were going through their stash, it's almost like shopping in the yarn store because they forgot what they had. So this is Malabrigo. I say Malabrigo. I have to, Tilly Trout, every time you say Malabrigo, I hear you say Malabringo. I don't know if you're saying it with an N in it or if it's just me that's hearing it wrong. But I say, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Malabrigo? I've always just said Malabrigo. But I always think that you're saying Malabringo. Anyway, this is Malabrigo worsted. It's in the colour, and I don't know what call China means, but that did come up when I was adding it to the stash. So it's not just China, it comes up as called China. There is a colourway called just China. And I think I got this, it doesn't tell me what store, but I think I got this last year in Florida when I was at the retreat in the yarn store that we went to with Kimberly. I think I did. So here's the other stuff that I put in that I still have on my shelf. And now that I'm looking at it all, I'm thinking like, ooh, I need to knit something with this. I have still got my Yarn Acres Butterbeer colourway. I have my Yarn Acres Under the Tree Sparkle. Oh my gosh, I love this, and I really should have got some socks on the needles at Christmas with this. So I'll have to do that soon. I've got some Fibre Nymph. This is a light fingering, I think it is. It's called a Sunshine Base Cotton Candy Princess. And I've got, this is the, I need to get this on the needles. This is the very first skein of yarn I got from the lovely ladies at Never Enough Time. And I love just the beautiful muted colourway. It's called Brambleberry. And this is, excuse me, merino and bamboo nylon. 60-30-10. I want to, this has got to be a shawl of some kind, I think. I just love it. Love the colours. These I got at the local yarn store. Love the autumnal colours. This is Manos Silk Blend. And I did, with two of these in a greeny colour, I've knit the Ilana Dakos's, what's it called? It's some little shawl with the leaves on the end, forgot the name. But I knit that in with two skeins of a green colour, so I know I could get that out of these, which could be a gift, or it could be for me again, or I could choose a different pattern, of course. This is the yarn I got at Christmas, just recently I mentioned, and I forgot to show you this, yes, last week or the week before, when I kept forgetting to show you the Countess of Blaze. This is Malabrigo. This is Madeline Tosh Pashmina. I treated myself at Christmas. And it's called Winter Wheat colourway. That's quite true. It's a little bit, that looks actually a bit muted. It's a little bit deeper than that. Maybe it's like that. And I just thought it would be a treat, and I want to knit something, some kind of shawl. I have in mind to knit this with some grey. There's a shawl in my queue. I don't know what the name is right now, but it's got two colours in it, so that might work with the I was going to try and use the Dreaming colour with some smushy or something. It's got cashmere in it. I might do that. And then I have my Dancing Dog Dye Works collection. I think I've got one more, I'm not sure. This one went in. This is the Boo colourway and a ghoulish green mini. That looks a little different colour. It's a bit more lime green than that. It's looking very bright on there. But love the colours in that. These, I think I really need to find some toys with these fun colourways. I also have, and I'm not quite sure which goes with which. I've got the Raspberry Fields, and I didn't know I had this. And Michelle, sweetie, if you're watching, this says Raspberry Fields, and it's got a ice pink mini. This says Raspberry Fields. They look like two different colourways. I'm a bit confused because they are both waltz worsted. And this one says with a raspberry mini, this one says ice pink. That looks like it should go with that one. But it doesn't look ice pink. And that one looks like it should go with that one. But that looks like ice pink. Michelle, I'm not sure what goes with what, but I think I'm teaming this one up with this and this one up with this. I can't remember now. I also have the Frankenweenie that I've not used yet with a chartreuse mini. I know that one's right. And I also have this. Oh my gosh, I forgot these were on the shelf and they're absolutely gorgeous. This is Grinchy. And this comes with a chartreuse mini as well. I've got to get these on the needle soon. And then I have my one-of-a-kind jive sock. This is the sock yarn in Bibliophilia colourway that Michelle dyed for the last kit I did with the Kiki Boo bags. It was the Book Lovers kit. So she made this colourway to match the bags. And because it was Book Lovers kit, she gave it the awesome name Bibliophilia. That's how I'm pronouncing that. And then this one did not go in the stash again because I forgot to take the picture of it. This was the Never Enough Time, and this is a special colourway that they dyed for me. Oh, I love this. And this was to go with the Kiki Boo kit with the gnomes on it, the pink, it's called Gnomes in the Garden. And I still haven't knit with that yet. So, they all went on my stash page. And it's like Christmas, isn't it? And I've got them in my dollar basket. Remember I showed you these awesome baskets? So they can now go back downstairs to the shelf. And I did not bring up any that I'm going to list this week, but I will try to list quite a large amount again. So that's show and tell. The other show and tell, excuse me, which probably brings me to the title, if I title the episode this, jumping on the bandwagon, or not, I'm not sure, but everybody has been crocheting, and lots of you are crocheting your blankets, and I'm not very good at crocheting. I don't normally want to do it, but I was tempted to do it, and so this past week, I picked up a crochet hook and some scrap yarn, and I'm not sure if this is just acrylic or if this is I think this is a superwash wool, and I did a square. I watched a video on YouTube. I kind of know the stitches, but I didn't know like how many I put in between, and then, you know, to do the corners. So I watched a little video, and I did a square, just all one colour. Now, what I thought I would do, but I don't think it's going to happen, I thought it might be a good thing to use up some of the sock yarn leftovers I've got and do squares in sock weight. Obviously this is worsted. And so I kind of tried, but I don't know what crochet hook size I would use for fingering, and I don't think I've got one any smaller than what I used for this, because I used it, I want to say it's a 3.75 mil, might say a number 5 on it. Marlisha, you might be able to tell me what size am I supposed to use if I want to try and crochet sock yarn. Because if I get the right size needle and I can do this, I don't intend to do squares. I think it would drive me crazy. I do not. It doesn't appeal to me at all to do squares and then try to put them all together. But whenever I feel like, oh, I'll just crochet a little, I think I'd like to do this and just go and make it a big blanket. You know, a bit like the mitered square blanket, which it doesn't appeal to me either. I'm wondering if I can just do round and get bigger square with scraps of sock weight yarn. I'm just not sure. So if someone can tell me what size needle or crochet hook would be best for sock weight, maybe I would give it a go. Because I did try it and it just wasn't, it wasn't looking right. I think the needle was, I keep saying the needle, the hook was too, the crochet hook was a little bit too big. And the other thing too, I was trying to hold the yarn like the girl showed to get the tension, and I just cannot do it. It gets way too tight. So perhaps later, if I do some more, I'll show you how I'm holding the needle. And it's a lot looser, but the square, other than it came out okay, didn't it? Does that look okay for a little beginner square? I must admit, Tilly and Kay influencing me to do something like a blanket. I've just loved Tilly's, hang on, my hair's getting on my nerves again, Tilly's blanket that she crocheted recently, which had the green and the white and the blue and the black. I just loved it, and she was explaining what the colours she saw when she saw these colours, and it said this to me as well. She just it totally looks like sheep in the field. You had you know, you had green grass, you had the blue sky, and you had white. It could be the fluffy clouds, or it could be some of the sheep, and then you had the black. You had the black sheep in the field as well. I just loved it, and she seemed to put that together so quickly. I was rather influenced. And then, I have to say this before we move on, more chatter because I don't have any other yarny stuff to show. Tracy, who has got the Tea Plays Nice podcast, who you're welcome to those that I mentioned it to. A few of you have contacted me and said thank you, because it was really fun to watch. I think Tracy's got our 3rd episode up, and hey Tracy, it was just so much fun to watch. Now, talking about the crochet, this is what got me to pick up the crochet needle actually. Tracy showed a pattern on her 3rd episode this past week of a blanket, and it looks so pretty, and it's got a flower like in the middle of the square. It's not just a square, it's a different pattern, and it's paid for, and so I don't know whether to buy it because I'm not a very good crocheter and I can't follow patterns. So I don't know whether to buy it, and I might not know what to do. So it may be worth looking on YouTube and looking at if there's any free YouTube videos to show me how to do the little flower kind of design first. I don't know. But Tracy, I'm dying to see you start that blanket, because I'm really tempted with that one. It just looks so pretty with flower in the middle, and then it kind of comes out. Oh. Yeah, so I'm tempted with that. And I'm not sure if I made a note of this. There was, it's probably gone in my favourites, there was also, my glasses again on my nose. There was also a pattern here. This is what yours looked like, Tracy. But this is I think this is free. But I'm not sure if it's got. I don't think it's got videos. It's just got the tutorial. You've got to read the pattern. And as I said, I can't read crochet patterns. My hair's a mess today. I didn't use the brush on it. Can you tell? I just dried it. It's crunchy. This I saw this week, and it's called Sophie's Universal Cal, and it's a free pattern that she's going to release the instructions for once a week. It's a mystery crochet along, and I've made a note, but this is similar to what was, that looked kind of like, oops, it looked like what Tracy's pattern was. Now, I didn't favourite Tracy's pattern, but she did mention what it was. It's, I think, I remember, hold on. If you bear with, and I'll show you this, because I think she called it, and it's paid for, this one. I'm sure it's similar. I think it was called a painted rose blanket. Let's see if it comes up. Yes, it does. So it's similar, not exactly the same, but it does. This is what Tracy showed. Let me just show you a big picture, because this is a paid for one. That, I would love to try and do that. I'm not sure if I can. So there's a task, or there is a challenge to myself, isn't it? Learn something new. As I said, again, this is a pattern. I can't read crochet patterns, and I don't think it's got YouTube-y videos on it. I can follow a YouTube video if you show me what to crochet. I can follow that. So that'll be a little bit of a research thing going on. And seriously, all right, I do need my hair doing. Okay, so moving into books, book talk. And it's kind of, well, I'll start with the ones that are not foodie related, but some of it will take us into in the kitchen-y segment as well. Down at the library this week, I picked up 2 books I wanted to look through. These, don't know if you have them on your shelf. I do need to make a note of how many books I've got on my shelf, because a few of you were saying that you don't have that many pattern books. A lot of them are like instruction knitting books. I have quite a few, I think, but I'm going to have to count them up now because I don't know exactly how many. But so I was just surfing around, and I'm surfing around on Amazon, and when I see a book that I think I might like, I go to the library website and see if they've got it, and they did. So I wanted to have a look at this one, The Art of Seamless Knitting. It's got these gorgeous socks in it. I'm really into cream socks right now, but I'm only going to keep one pair on the needles at a time. And then it's got, let's see, I like this as well. Not so much the colour, but I do like that top. Nice and long, covers your bum. And that's seamless. Seamless. A bit like this Lauren sweater, obviously. Seamless. It's going to be great. I like that kind of knitting. So I'm really interested in doing that. The cable absolutely looks gorgeous. That might have to go in my queue. The one on the front doesn't do it as much for me, and I don't like that length of sleeves. This is not me either. So it really was the socks in that pattern, to be honest. And a lot of them in here are sweaters with a ton of cables. There's that one, the neck. Look at this huge, look at this big one. Lovely sweater, cardigan. That's full of lovely cables. It's even all on the back too, look at that. Still snowing. They do have some small items like hat and scarf. Not scarf. There's a hat there, and then there's some mittens, or fingerless. But I probably wouldn't buy this. That's a nice fitted V-neck. That's nice. I probably wouldn't buy this, but I wouldn't mind getting it out of the library for knitting that specific pattern. So I picked that one up. There's a big chunky curl there, which I probably wouldn't knit either. So it's really, I like the pattern for those mittens, not mittens, the socks, and I like the pattern for this V-neck, and I like the pattern for that funky coloured line kind of sweater. I like that. And then I picked up this sweet book. Now, only because I've always wanted to see what this looked like inside, but I didn't want to buy it in case there was stuff in there I didn't like. And I think you can see on Ravelry, if you go to look at the book, it'll generally show you the patterns. But this scarf has always been in my local yarn store. She had it on a mannequin for a long time, and I've always kind of wanted to knit it, but I don't know if I'll get round to it very soon. And then there's some things that I just would never knit. Fairy wings. I always think the hat, I've always loved that hat, but again, probably wouldn't knit it. This is the back. I do love these little butterfly fingerless mittens where you put the butterfly in the palm. It's so sweet. Trying to see what else. Oh, this is a different picture of a fox. Then she has this huge, big, here's the catching butterflies. Isn't that cute? Just the title looks so nice too. There was a big, oh here it is, big chunky sweater with a bear on the front. And if that is intarsia, I would not be interested. But I do like the idea of just, I don't know what that word is called when you overstitch it. I think Kay recently mentioned something. I would knit it, you know, you could knit it once the sweater's done. I like the idea of that better. So, I just picked those up from the library. There's another little sweater. You can't really see that picture very much. Oh, it's not a sweater. It's almost like a poncho, but it's got little fawn on it there. Again, I don't know if it tells you if it's intarsia. I'd have to read the pattern. But and then there's these. Oh, see, Kiki would love these meow mitts. I might have to think about doing them. They wouldn't take very long. Oh, and I can't tell if I can. Yeah, I think you knit the mittens and then you stitch on top. Oh, she would like them. Look at that. That looks like a real cute kitty cat picture. I might have to consider looking for some yarn for that. Surprise her. I mean, Christmas is gone. Her birthday's not till November, but I might just do them and then surprise her and see if she wants them. That was Bindi. That's what she does when she is relaxing. Kind of snorts. Okay, so the rest, I've got other books, and that would be because of what's in the kitchen. I did mention, oh, it's here as well. This one I've still got out from the library. And I mentioned that I was going to make sweet potato and black bean enchiladas. And I did. And they were really yummy. And even more surprising, well, I find the picture because this is, hubby really, really liked them. Sweet potato and black bean enchiladas. There's no cheese in it, and every time I've had enchiladas, they're smothered in cheese. No cheese. didn't miss the cheese at all, and you made this little green sauce as avocado cilantro cream sauce, which is really just the avocado mushed up and some cilantro, lime juice, a bit of garlic powder and salt, and then I think you add water to, thin it down. They were super, super tasty. I showed a picture on Instagram of the inside. Let me see if I can find it quickly for you. And it's just fun. I mean, I'm just pleasantly surprised when hubby's enjoying these meatless dishes. And actually, this was totally vegan. Here it is. This is the inside of this is what goes in the centre. The sweet potato, black beans, there's some spinach in there. I actually put corn in. It didn't call for corn, but I had some open in the fridge. We'd opened a can. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, there was a orange bell pepper in there. There's onions and garlic. And then just a lot of spices like chili powder and cumin. And I even made the enchilada sauce. She has a recipe in here, and I'm going to take this off because I just got hot again. She has a recipe in here for enchilada sauce. And I did all of it, and it was fabulous. So, that went well. There is some other stuff in here that I really would like to try. I fancy trying the tomato sauce, but it's got mushrooms in. Hubby doesn't like a lot of mushrooms, so I'm not sure whether to try this recipe or just look for some other kind of sauces. Haven't picked anything else out of here just yet, but I was pleasantly surprised, very happy with that. Then, prior to making that earlier last week or at the weekend, I made a recipe out of this book. This is a really old little book. It's just small, from Sainsbury's, and this is a supermarket in England. Got this years and years ago, and it's vegetarian suppers. Because at the time I had a couple of friends, a married couple, who she was vegetarian, and sometimes when we'd get together and we did dinner parties and took turns, I specifically made some vegetarian dishes one night as a dinner. And I remember doing a recipe in here. There's two main recipes I like. Actually, there's three. They're right next to each other. I made this and I said to hubby, you might like it, and I don't know if you will. And you can tell this is so old, and look, it's all like splattered. I made, you can't really see the picture very well, this top one. It's called cashew nut curry, or cashew. I say cashew nut curry. And it's really simple. It's onions and it's onions and celery is the main base, and then you make this. Let's see. You use desiccated, as we call it, desiccated coconut. That's the unsweetened kind. It's like a dry coconut. You make that with. You grind poppy seeds and coriander seeds and cumin and turmeric and chili powder. It turned out really, really good. So that went down well with hubby. I would definitely make that one again. And the other two that I've made in the past, these two. The top one, can't see if I'm close up. These. I used to make these years ago. I haven't made them in a long time, but I made these quite a few times back in England when we would do a barbecue with some friends. And they're vegetable kebabs. And what was nice is the marinade that you stir these all around in, which was olive oil and lemon juice, mixed herbs, garlic and cumin, and ginger, turmeric, and some cayenne. And that is all in this olive oil, and then you throw all your vegetables in, like mushrooms and courgettes, it says, which is zucchini here, and aubergine, which is eggplant here, and I think there's, and peppers, red bell peppers and stuff. So I've made them, which were good, but I've also made this dish, and this is called fennel goulash. And so I told hubby I'm going to make that for him next, because I think he would enjoy it. It's a tomatoey based goulash. You use fennel, and I don't know if you've ever tried fennel. It does have kind of a licoricey flavour to this fennel. It looks like a big bulb. And you put mushrooms in it, onions, fennel, a red pepper, paprika, and some potatoes, and then it's in like a tomatoey vegetable broth kind of sauce. So I'm going to try that soon. And then finally, I got this book out of the library, and there's not really anything in it that I want to try. I saw this book because I found a website, and I'm going to hide this. It can be a little off-putting to some people, this book, because it says eat like you give, and yes it does, it's got it blanked out, but they use that word in here a lot. That doesn't look appealing to me, so you know, and those tacos with that doesn't look appealing. So it's going straight back to the library. I wasn't really interested in that one. The camera just cut off, so I'm not sure if that was just a 47 minutes waffle. It is still snowing outside. I've got to go out in that later today. I'm glad I got the car swapped over for a 4-wheel drive. At least I can hopefully get out in the snow, because hubby's not here to blow the snow off the driveway. But anyway, that is all my waffle for this week. I guess I can put this on again. I hope it hasn't been too boring for you. Because I was monotonous, and I got quite a lot of because I was a monogamous knitter, I got quite a lot on one thing done, so there wasn't a lot of other stuff to show you. But that's it for this week then, and plans for next week. Let's see. The goals are get more stash put on my page, and that's about all I'm going to set myself really, and knit whatever I enjoy knitting. Might be those little mittens now that I think about it. I really want to get something new on the needles, because I am getting rather bored with what's on my needles. So I don't know. Other than the stash, I've got no other plans. I'll just do what makes me happy. It looks like Bindy's doing what makes her happy too. Okay, so with that, I will leave you, perhaps with a little view of the snow again. And a little view of Bindy sleeping there with her waggy tail and sitting with Mrs. Bakery Bear, aren't you? Eh? Where's that waggy tail? Where's the tail? It was wagging a second ago. Anyway, guys, so I'm home. I wish you all were here with me having a cuppa and knitting with me, watching the snow fall. But you can see it. I will check in with you all next week. I hope you do have a wonderful week, and I hope you come back next week. Join me in the knitting den. Bye, guys.